Let's get straight to what horrible things I have gone through in my marriage. My name is Johnson. 28 years old, I have been working at a bank responsible to entertain new customers with account opening formalities. I had been married to my wife named Alicia, 24 years old. For 2 years before marriage, we had been in a relationship for 3 years. I had always been interested in banking or finance degree. I was very much keen to the stock market and financial reporting. That's why after finishing high school, I started to get admission to this field of education. I even sacrificed my social life to earn this degree as it was my passion and I knew that it was worth it in the end. Finally, after 2 years, the day came when I eventually completed my degree, but it was also a real challenge to find a job in such a competitive banking sector. Kept applying to different banks. And I even took on internships and volunteer work to gain more experience and skills. Finally, hard work paid off as I received an offer from a local bank. Within no time I joined the bank and continued to learn and grow. My job was only to deal with new customers who had come to the bank to get any information. So I would greet them and also open new bank accounts. I felt fulfilled by realizing that I was making a difference in others' life by helping them create out their financial goals. At that time, 2 years had passed while working at the bank. When one day I met this beautiful girl with innocence in her eyes. It was just a normal Monday. When Alicia entered in our bank, it was a situation that never expected. As I first looked at her, she was in some kind of fear or nervousness. But when her eyes met mine, I waved my hand asking her to come here without any hesitation. She came towards me. I was mesmerized by her beauty. She had long brown hair and blue eyes. Whenever she looked at me, my heart skipped a beat. "Hi, good morning. I would like to get some information about opening a bank account." She said, "Hey, welcome to our bank. Of course, I can help you with that. Do you know about the all necessary documents?" I composed myself and asked her. She nodded her head and handed over her identification and other paperwork quickly. I entered her informations, but somehow I was distracted by her presence while I was entering the data. We continued to chat. I learned that her name was Alicia and she was new in the town. She had just moved in with her sister and they had no financial support from family except her job at the local gallery. At that time, they both were living in a small studio room in the gallery. Finally, I set up her new account and handed her the account information. "Is there anything else I can help you with?" I asked. "No, please. Thank you. You have been very kind. It's been a pleasure to meet you." She smiled and said as she turned to leave, "I was feeling nothing at all." But before she could reach the door, I ran towards her. "Alicia, if it's okay with you, can we grab a cup of coffee sometime?" I asked. "Okay, let's do it, but not now. I will tell you over the phone." She smiled and went away. I thought that this encounter with her was the start of something special. The next day she left me a text message. She wanted to have a coffee on the weekend over at some cafe, which she told was her favorite place. I just texted back and promised to meet at the weekend. In my heart, there was a river of joy flowing. I believe that sometimes it just needs a moment to recreate everything in our lives. The thing is, I had never been on a date before, so I felt nervous as I walked into the cafe and saw her sitting at the corner table. I made my way to her and greeted her. She looked up and her smile was brightening as we chatted over coffee. I found myself drawn to her personality. It felt like we had known each other for years yet. We were just having our first date before I could open out my heart to her. Her sister walked in and joined us. Her sister, named Jessica, had curly hair, strange clothes and bizarre sense of humor that made me uneasy. Alicia also seems frustrated with her but tried to keep a smile on her face. After some time, we became open and sat there holding each other's hand as we finished our coffee and said our goodbyes. I could feel that something was off. But on my way home, I couldn't stop thinking about her. I knew at that moment that I was falling in love with her. A few days later, I called her again and asked if she wanted to go out for dinner. To my surprise, she accepted when I reached the gallery to pick her up. Jessica was again standing there waiting for me. I tried to hide my disappointments and I met her because it seems like I was never going to get some private moments with Alicia. After dinner, we went to a bar for a drink and enjoyed ourselves late till midnight. Then we all went to our homes. I had fallen in love with her, but I was not sure I could handle the strange closeness between Alicia and her sister. But I thought I had to give it a try to get the love of my life. I had always been a skeptic when it comes to love. I believe that love was something that can never be found in this world. But my whole perception changed after meeting Alicia. I felt immediately drawn to her smile and eyes. Unfortunately, every day it had to end after spending little time together. But one day when I went to a nearby hotel during lunch break, I was surprised to see her walk in. We exchanged greetings and I offered her lunch. She spent the next hour talking and laughing. We spent the next hour talking and laughing. It was a beautiful happening in my life. Over the next few weeks, we started spending more time together. We went to watch movies and long walks at night. I was amazed how much we had in common, but somehow I was also frustrated because her sister also gave her company during most of our meetings. It was something unbearable for me. Finally, one day I decided to confess my feelings to her. When I told her about how much I loved her, she was surprised, but to my relief, she also felt the same. We hugged each other tightly and kissed. At that moment, I felt myself to be the luckiest man in the world. And I hoped that our love would only continue to grow stronger with every single day. Next weekend we were having dinner at a restaurant where I asked about her sister. "Is your sister doing?" I asked. Her face looked pale. "She's not doing too well." "Actually," she said, "what's going on?" I was concerned. "Well, she has lost her job and even since then, she is struggling with depression and has nowhere to go." She replied, "I don't know." But I felt sympathy for her sister. I knew how hard it can be to lose a job. "Is there anything I can do to help?" I asked. "Well, I decay. But I would tell you if we needed your help." She looked grateful. And after spending some time together, we went to our homes. Late at night, we continued to meet on daily basis. Sometimes she would come over to my place and we would watch movies together or cook each other's favorite dishes. Time went by so quickly and we had been in a relationship for 3 years now. Although I knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. I had been planning about proposing for a while. I wanted to create a moment that could be remembered for the rest of my life. One evening, we both went out for dinner at our favorite spot. We had a delicious meal and there I was barely controlling my excitement. After finishing our meal, we went out for a walk in the park. The sky glittered with stars and the air was cool. We had hand in hand enjoying those moments when we reached a small fountain in the middle of the path. I took a deep breath and put my hands on her shoulders. "Alicia, I love you more than anything in this world. I want to spend every moment of my life with you. Will you marry me?" I propose. She was surprised and emotional. "Yes, Johnson, I will marry you." She said. I had this small box in my pocket which I pulled out and opened it to offer her a beautiful diamond ring. I put that ring on her finger and we hugged each other tightly. From that night on, my life was changed forever. We spent the next few months planning our wedding. Her sister also called me and congratulated me. But I find Jessica's voice disturbing because felt like she was not happy at all, just pretending to be. But I knew I had to cherish my love forever, no matter whatever her sister was up to. But I knew I had to cherish my love forever, no matter what her sister was up to. After 3 years of being together, we got married on a beautiful Sunday. Our friends were there to witness our woes to each other and started a new chapter of our lives. However, I noticed something strange. Her sister, Jessica, seems to be everywhere near Alicia. Her sister would show up and announce at our house, and always wanted to be around when we both were about to enjoy our private moments. My wife had to sleep with her sister because she was so-called guest in our house. Over the next weekend, my wife came to me and what she asked was annoying, but I didn't want to let down her feelings. I know it's a big favor, but I was wondering if we could let Jessica stay with us for a while. Just until she finds her place, she asked. Of course, as you wish, we can do that. I hesitated but replied, within the next few days, Jessica moved with us and I tried to be as much sport as I could. We had been married for 2 months, but I could never find a moment to make love with my wife, feel her warmth and her love. That all never happened because of her sister. And now she was living with us. My wife also wanted to sleep with her as she was going through a lot lately. So I didn't bother. But as the weeks went by, I began to feel uncomfortable. Her sister would never leave the house and always seems to be listening to our conversation. One day, I decided to confront my wife about those concerns. Alicia, I don't want to make you stressed, but I feel like from the moment Jessica moved in, it's starting to make me feel uncomfortable. It seems like she is always around us. I said, while making her clothes to my chest. I'm sorry, but she doesn't have anywhere else to go. And I just wanted to help her out. She replied, and also wanted to go away. We had been married for a few months then and I was becoming frustrated because we had not been intimate since our marriage. So this time I wanted to initiate a sex with her, but she was pushing me away. I was hurt and confused. I asked her what was wrong? And there she was standing hesitating. I have chlamydia. She said, why didn't you tell me? We could have started treatment and taken care of it. I spoke, I was ashamed and I didn't want you to think I had cheated on you. She replied, we are married and are in this together. Let's go to the doctor and get this sorted out. I told her with compassion. Okay, I will go with Jessica because you are busy with work. She replied. A few days passed. When I came over from home, I found there was no one at home. I called my wife and she told me that she had gone to the market for some groceries with Jessica. So I went to the bedroom and suddenly went to sleep. When I woke up, it was past midnight. I was feeling pain in my stomach while looking for pills in the cupboard. I saw some paper in the pocket of Alicia's shirt. I took out the paper and read it. It was a medical exam report which was requested the previous week that showed my wife was pregnant. I was shocked and hurt how she got pregnant without us making any laugh, being furious. I went to Jessica's room where my wife was sleeping. Those days, I entered the room, I found my wife sleeping with a man and that man looked like Jessica. When my eyes struck the table, there were those clothes and makeup that Jessica wore every single day to make me a fool. My wife was laying in the bed with that bee's Jessica, her arms wrapped around him. I was frozen. Unable to understand that betrayal. Get out, both of you, get out of my house and never come back. I shouted. In the following days, I tried to come to terms with what had happened. I filed for divorce and sold out the house that I shared with my wife. It took me a long time to heal. But the valuable lesson learned was enough to help me move